Scott Robertson has finally said the quiet part out loud, and it has sent shockwaves through New Zealand rugby. What was meant to be a simple clarification in Cardiff has exploded into one of the biggest controversies of his tenure, leaving pundits and supporters stunned. Because according to Razor himself, he's not actually acting as the head coach. That role, he admitted, is effectively being carried out by assistant coach Scott Hansen. This revelation, first reported by Gregor Paul in the New Zealand Herald, instantly tore through the rugby community. As Robertson confirmed to the Herald this week in Cardiff, it is his assistant Scott Hansen who effectively operates in the role most would recognise as the head coach, Paul wrote, and the reaction was volcanic. "I'm flabbergasted by this," radio host Martin Devlin said on DSPN. "None of us wanted Scott Hansen to be the coach of the All Blacks. No disrespect to Scott Hansen, but you weren't given the job. Razor is the coach. If you can't be the coach, then we need another coach. And it's not Scott Hansen." Devlin didn't stop there. He buried the entire leadership structure. "You haven't earned the right to be the All Blacks coach yet. You haven't. That's the thing. You haven't even coached the Crusaders. There's another guy called Scott Robertson who was meant to be doing that." His frustration only grew as he laid out the contradiction. Last week, remember, at the press conference, he said that the assistants were learning on the job, and this week he says that that guy there is actually the coach. Did he mean that? Because if he means that, then we've got serious problems. And then came the line that most All Blacks fans are now repeating. New Zealand Rugby didn't hire Scott Hansen to be the coach, they hired Scott Robertson, so there's a devolution of power and roles. I want Scott Robertson to coach the All Blacks. I don't want anyone else to coach the All Blacks, otherwise get another coach in. This is the heart of the controversy. Razor won the job by selling himself as the leader, the visionary, the culture builder, the man with the track record. But fans are now asking, is Razor actually coaching the All Blacks? Or is Scott Hansen? And if the assistants are learning on the job, as Razor himself said last week, how is Hansen simultaneously acting as the head coach? It creates an image of confusion, blurred roles, and a leadership structure that feels improvised rather than elite. In his pitch to NZ Rugby, Robertson positioned himself as a cultural coach who would delegate technical roles, but supporters never expected that the delegation would be this extreme. The All Blacks have already had a mediocre season, failed a Grand Slam, and looked disjointed in key moments. Now they are learning that the man calling the shots is not even the one NZ Rugby hired, and as Devlin said, that raises one simple, brutal question. If Razor isn't coaching the All Blacks, then who is? What do you think? Is this leadership model a smart evolution or a dangerous experiment already going wrong? Comment below and don't forget to subscribe to Kiwi Rugby Updates for the most explosive, unfiltered analysis on the All Blacks unfolding drama.